Alright, it's time to talk about the rubric for this unit. Like you saw in the standard, we're back to our analyzing data standards. We're analyzing data to determine cause and effect relationships, to see how things are related, how one leads to another, or how this proves that. So we'll start in the proficient category. To be proficient, you need to do 3 things, just like last time. You need to sort, identify, and explain. So to be proficient, it says accurately classify or sort all evidence into the desired groups. And then to be approaching proficient, it would be accurately sorting some of the things into the desired groups. So you might get some wrong. Just like in our natural hazards unit, where you were sorting things by predictors or impacts or hurricanes or tornadoes, here you're going to be sorting things based on which kind of evidence is it. Is it fossil correlation, matching fossils, or is it rock and mountain correlation, or the shape of the continents? Those are the types of things you'll be sorting this time. Accurately identify or name all of the groups that you created. For example, the type of boundary, Wagner's evidence groups, etc. And similarly, in the approaching proficient column, it's accurately identify or name some of the groups that you created. So the first indicator asks you to split things into the groups, and then the second indicator asks you to tell me, what is this group? What does everything in this group represent? So it might be all these things have to do with a convergent boundary. You call it convergent. Or all these things are examples of fossil evidence. You'd write fossil correlation. And the last indicator for proficient says describe what the evidence is showing and explain how it proves that the continents have drifted. Whereas approaching proficient just says describe what the evidence is showing. So if you simply look at the evidence that's given to you, maybe you sort it, classify it, tell me what is going on in that evidence. If you just say, this evidence is showing that fossils were on different continents, that's going to be approaching proficient. If you say, the evidence shows that the same fossil was found on different continents, which means that the continents must have at one point been together, that's proficient, because you are not only describing what it's showing there's fossils on different continents, but you're also explaining how it proves that the continents have drifted. Remember, proving the continents have drifted, that's our key. That is what the standard actually asks us to do. And going over to mastery from there, it says identify the major pieces of evidence that Wagner and Hess used to prove that the continents have drifted. We'll spend a lot of time talking about Wagner in our unit. Hess will be part of an extension activity, and also there'll be some reading to do on the mastery portion of the assessment about him. And then the big thing here is to compare and contrast the data and evidence used by those 2 scientists. Compare and contrast means how is it similar and how are they different. Okay. And if you look at the bottom, the must-haves, formative number 1, you're used to it being all about vocabulary. This one's going to be about the different types of plate boundaries and the motions and the formations that occur at each boundary. And then the second one, that's what the rest of your formatives and your summative will be about. The evidence for Pangea and continental drift, fossil correlation, rock and mountain correlation, apparent fit of the continents, seafloor spreading, and paleoclimate data. So this will be the focus for formative number 1. This will be the focus for formatives 2, 3, and 4, and your summative. All of these things can be found in the Quizlet links, and you'll see them again in the unit activities. If you have any questions, let us know. Otherwise, you can move on to the next slide.